Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today, Heartland. Now look, I am just as happy as anyone else that the Division 2's new content is finally basically here. You know, we have the PTS going on, we're waiting for Phase 2 right now, they're making the changes, getting the stuff done. We're gonna have the update before we know it. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that all of this attention and hype surrounding the Division 2 hasn't caused me to feel some longing towards Heartland. You all know that out of everything coming for the Division universe, even before we knew about what the Division 2's new content was, before the novel released, all that stuff, I was most excited for Heartland in 2022. That still stands. I am beyond excited for this game, this free-to-play spinoff coming from Red Storm Entertainment. And so as I usually do, I was just going around looking if there was any new Heartland tidbits floating around the internet, and I found, this is something that I check, semi-regularly, but I found if you go onto Red Storm's website, there are a lot of new hires that have been posted for the studio and for Heartland specifically, at least, based on their other known projects, it would appear that they are for Heartland. And, because I know a lot of you are like myself, you're eagerly awaiting more news and details on the Division Heartland, I figured a lot of you would like to see and know about some of the progress that is being made behind the scenes and some of these new hires that they're adding to the studio, because this is, by far, I think ever since they announced the game, the most new hires I've seen at one time happening, both for the studio and for Heartland specifically, and I'm very excited for what that might mean, considering where they are in development. So let's just cut on over to the careers page, and I will show you exactly what I am talking about. Here you go. You can see that is quite a lot of hires. Now, there's a few we can knock off the list as not being Heartland related. We know that basically Red Storm is a much smaller studio than Massive, and we also know that their other known projects are these VR titles. They're doing one for Assassin's Creed. There might be a second one, but I think that's the main one, and so you can see right here, obviously, that says Assassin's Creed VR. That one does as well. This one is for VR, and then the other two that aren't, game related are obviously an office assistant and user research analyst, is more like play tests and general, studio management stuff. But other than that, look at all of these open positions that are for, again, Red Storm is, I think by my estimations and what I understand, they have maybe like 200, 250 people. Other than VR, their main project is Heartland. All of these things are very highly likely related to Heartland. Senior gameplay programmer, lighting artist, UX designer, sound designer, game intelligence analyst, senior animator engineer, producer, mission designer, brand product marketing manager, weirder one of that one, senior production director, communications and social media coordinator, could be more general, position for the studio. Of course, and then narrative director. What's very interesting about this one is that is the exact same role that they're hiring for the Division 2 right now, which might be a coincidence, it might not. What I think could be very interesting to find out later down the line is that maybe Ubisoft in general is trying to coordinate the narrative progression of the Division franchise as a whole in the game realms, moving into the latter half of 2022 and 2023. Maybe they're trying to align and somewhat streamline their narrative presentations to make them a bit more cohesive. And so it could make sense that they are now hiring both these positions on both games. And so I think that is very, very interesting. And so again, as I said, this is by far the most positions I've ever seen them hiring for at one time ever since the Division Heartland was announced. I think, I've looked in months past and it's been maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 open roles, but to have over 10, there's obviously, there's 17 here, but 4 or 5 of them are for VR, more general stuff. 10, 11, 12 roles being hired for Heartland right now is pretty significant, especially considering we know the game is far along in development. If you've been looking at Tom Henderson's articles or other stuff that's come out online, people that have play tested and that have spoken to these outlets have said that the game feels mostly complete, and which is why I keep saying that I think the game is going to release sometime between July and September of this year. And so you don't hire people like a senior production director, a narrative director, a brand product marketing manager. They're not hiring these people to get started on development. They are in development. They are nearly done with development. And so I think this just goes to show that, especially now that they're ramping up the hires this much, it just shows that there is a plan and support being made for the Division Heartland long term. I think we could have guessed that, it's a free-to-play game. You're going to do that type of stuff. But it is just reassuring to see it, publicly displayed like this, even though we still don't have public details on the game, at least not recently. So it is very, very reassuring and exciting to me to see all of these new hires listed for, again, what I assume can be the Division Heartland. And if you don't believe me on that, let's just take a look at some of these and see. And again, maybe 250 people at their studio. Most of these, maybe not narrative director because it's more about a creative role. But if you go to some of the actual rules like this, they'll say their next AAA game. This one, qualification, significant contributions to mission designer capacity, at least one ship AAA title, broad knowledge of games, both PvE and PvP, experience conducting playtests autonomously, Snowdrop, there you go, Snowdrop experience a plus, wonder what that's for. So yeah, all of these are for I'm not going to say all of them except obviously the VR ones, user research analyst, all those ones, they're definitely for the Division Heartland. Red Storm is putting all of their resources and time into this project to make it the best it can be before launch. We can tell as much by them getting the extra time to work on it after the delay. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what this is all going to amount to in the end, see what they have planned for the game after launch, see what the long-term prospects are for this in the larger Division universe, and this is just another positive step that I see moving forward, and so I wanted to share it with you all, because I know a lot of you are like myself, eager for any little, news bite in detail we can get about the Division Heartland, and so hopefully this is a nice little update to keep you satisfied while we wait for that official news drop. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on this, batch of new hires for the Division Heartland. Obviously, I think we can account 10, 11, 12 of these different listings to be for the Division Heartland, and I'm very excited about what that might mean for the long-term future of the game, especially for some of these roles like a narrative director, brand and product and marketing manager, senior production director, senior animator, engineer. What do you think about all these roles? Do you think that they will have an impact on the actual current development of Heartland, or are they more for the long term? Whatever you're thinking, I would love to know your thoughts about all of that and anything else you were thinking about the Division Heartland, because you know that I'm always down to talk Division, especially Heartland, as we wait for more information. That's going to do it for me today, though, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold. Ow.